Trump has signed a new executive order allowing more IVF, which is going to cause more problems. We're going to get into it real quick. This is Theology Matters, Interesting Takes. Okay, so let me shift. So Trump has brought a new executive order out. It's causing some bits of interesting conversations on Twitter, because many of the Christians are pointing out the fact that this is not pro-life at all. It is so-called pro-family, uh, which I'm a step ahead of me. So this is Senator Katie Britt. She's from Alabama. So again, I say it's pro-family, right? It's not pro-family. It may be pro-family because it creates said family, but it creates it in a horrible reason, because it is not pro-life because of the fact that of what happens to the embryos, which give me 5 more seconds. So, and it's weird because a lot of this is peddled of, yeah, but the children are produced, which is also the same thing with kind of in here, where there's a lot of women who, at least according to this woman who I think, when I was looking at this, it's Rhode Island's gubernatorial candidate at one point. So yeah, it's interesting though because I love I love the added, especially now that we're in our late 40s. Well, sorry, well, I added late, but um, it's like kind of ask a important question: why didn't you do this before? Like, I hate to use some red pill terminology, but like, why did it take you hitting the wall for you to finally be like, "Oh, I'm missing something"? And then, to be fair, I guess that is the thing. You hit the wall, and you're like, "I need to," you go primal and wanting to create the family unit that you said you gave the middle finger to. So, there's a lot of people who have done great work on this. Um, that because you just see it on Twitter and everything else. You'll see that, it's like I think the number was like 10% of the embryos are actually implanted, and like the other 90 are either frozen, or discarded or repurposed. And by that, it's usually I think stem cells was made via embryos. So of course, as a pro-lifer, you can't be endorsing the IVF because even though it produces kids, so it produces life, it also kills life. That's why many Christians and Catholics, especially Catholics, which, give me a minute on that, are not exactly happy with this topic. And again, I point out that specifically Catholics, and part of that is because of the fact that in the catechism, there is something about IVF specifically. There is no, look at this verse, which technically we're using that, but we have it in stone, like a commandment. Unlike some Protestants, with all due respect to my Protestant brethren, you kind of have a loosely based rule book. So, and I just have to name 2 denominations and I automatically prove that. So, but the main thing that I wanted to take from this is, what is the value of life? Because not necessarily the spiritual, but the not even monetary. There is a word I'm thinking of and it eludes me. But like kind of the just, what is the value of the life in this world? Because I was thinking of, um JD Vance has a, I think, cousin or someone relative to JD Vance couldn't get the heart surgery or the heart transplant because of um the COVID shot, which is just weird one. But it's interesting though because we all want to, and especially MAGA would probably outcry about that. But my thing that I'd point out is, why would it matter? Like, if we can create life like that, then why is a child's death important? And of course, everyone's mad. I'm mad. I hate saying this sentence, but like I say that, and if you're getting mad, then you kind of understand why Catholics, especially, are not exactly happy with IVF because it demeans the value of there we are, the sanctity of the human life because each life is valuable. But if life is so easy to create, then why would anyone cry over its destruction? It's um like I was thinking of the story. It's like if your boy had cancer and was going to die, and it didn't matter, like, and it was either you're going to fight or you're not. The choice could be just not to fight because eh so you lost a kid, you can make another. No biggie. And again, I'm not endorsing that, but you have to understand that that is the mindset that eventually goes when we lose the sanctity of human life. Um, because like, why do we care that people died if we can just bring them back? Like IVF allows us to specifically choose genetics. That's why a lot of Down syndromes, I think, are specifically targeted and any other, uh, abnormalities because of the fact that they'd be different. And so ideal, the ideal genes would then maybe mirror up. So it's like you may get a clone copy, which we might be getting to that cloning at some point, but fortunately, there's going to be people mad at that worse. Um, but yeah, so that was mainly my first thought, and like I think it's an interesting thought experiment to tell to anyone about it because you're going everyone's human nature is going to say, "What the hell are you saying?" Which good. I'm saying this because of the fact that I'm afraid you're just gonna people will cut out that like half second where I say stuff, but it's like and I hate saying that, but it's like that's how life would be treated as. Because what is the point of the sanctity of life if it's created within an instant? Then why would we care? Now, furthermore, we want to talk about IVF, right? Well, IVF doesn't just happen, right? It has its own effect. And some of the effect there's a lot or I wouldn't say effect, but there's a lot of stuff that happens to this, right? Like first, two people have to go, we're having a baby, right? This isn't like, you get a cold or something. It's not like it just, happens. You have to like go in and dude has to um yeah. I'm not gonna say any more purely because I think everyone understands. Which of course not only just I hate to be the wife. It's like, "Hi honey, here's the samples. I hope you were thinking of me." Sure. Like like it's just that's got to be a weird conversation. It's got to like especially if it's Christians, it's kind of weird. Um but it's like the pair and this is where like humility is going to come into play of that. Many people need to understand that okay, life has not been granted to your family, the blessing that is life, right? Because I see a lot of many Christians some defending this, but it's like life is not ours to create, it's God's. um but yeah, selfish parents definitely, because you weren't, as I was mentioning with the other girl who was talking about the 40s. It's like, why weren't you prioritizing that in your 30s and 20s or anything of that ilk? Um, and again, it's like pro family. Most it's just yeah, it's weird. It's wrong. It's weird. Everything else. So I think that's it. To be fair, I don't think there's really anything else. To recoup, it kills a lot, kills more than it makes. Devalues human life to basically mean nothing. Um, sorry, I remember the last point. And the other thing, like, if we really wanna talk about, like, if IVF, right? Because I saw someone write this, and I actually had to agree, and this is kinda where the point is. Why is the IVF such a focal point? Because IVF is I meant to do that. Hold on. Quit 20 seconds. I just need 20 seconds. Um, so I'm looking up average age of a couple doing, if I could spell right, I keep doing a C. Couple doing IVF. Hold on. Let me see if I get up. Gosh, that's great. Hold on. AI's doing quick look. Thank you, AI, for telling me nothing. Um, okay, screw it. So I'd have to look at what the average age. I'm not gonna spend 30 minutes doing that, but you know, maybe we should be creating more instead of creating a culture where we prolong career until eventually it becomes medically necessary for us to have children, so-called, but or produce life via more than just regularly, right? Maybe instead of, making IVF more available, how about we, like, I don't know, create, a government slash culture that can support, immediate families at, 20 or something, and creating, a society that values family and creation of families, that day, like, I wouldn't even say 18, but like, 20, I'm 27, give or take a couple years, you know, like I'm young. So like, but like, again, things happen. I understand that. But like, I also think it's weird because, I just as a side note, she talked about the 40-year-olds. I'm like, okay, so when you have the kid, you're going to be like 60 by the time he gets out of college. It's like, and then assuming that he has kids, right? You probably would never like. You would have to have so there's 60, right? So they'd be about 80 by the time you see your grandkids, and then you would be dead before you probably see your great grandkids. And it's like it's so weird because like you know I know I have still one side of my grandparents left, and they have seen great grandchildren, and I forgot when they got married, but like it was younger. I wouldn't say my age, but like it was younger. So they're able to see their kids, me, and then well, not me. And not anything I've done. I can't do that. I can, but I choose not to. Um, because I respect the sanctity of the marital act, which is another thing that we could talk about with like contraception and everything else. Um, but yeah, I just a thought that I had of the fact that it's like you won't be able to see basically any of your family. You're gonna make the family only for it to for you to like immediately reach an age of old folks. And to be fair, you're kind of in that 40 or so. You're kind of in that notion of like you either had the family going or you are like about done, right? So, anyways, that is all for me today. Um, Thank you all for watching the Theology Matters Interesting Takes. I am trying to get the numbers up, in which case then I will do the show more live. This is more of a segment of interesting takes, more or less of a free flow um, segment. I usually do far more. I have one coming out about Valentina Gomez. Hopefully, if I record it tomorrow, it will be out tomorrow, maybe Thursday, dependent on life. I'm snowed in, so I have all the time in the world. And I mean that. There's like supposedly 6 to 8 inches where I am. And then I have 6. Now, Jack, um, sorry. So anyways, if you enjoyed the content, hit that big red box. It'll help me, and if you hit this, write a comment at least and tell me why. That would be nice. So anyways, so peace, be gone, go, whatever. the goodbyes.